Good morning. It's Saturday morning here. Well, Saturday afternoon, depending upon where you live. This is Brunansky's vlog. I'm Joby Brunansky. We're about to get started. We're going to give everybody a second to hop into this morning's Facebook Live session, and then we are going to go ahead and get started. We have a lot to cover today. So on today's show, we are going to talk about two movies that I was able to get out to see this week, Annihilation and Game Night. Enjoyed both of them. We're going to talk a little bit more, but non-spoiler. We're going to talk non-spoiler about those films, and then we will go ahead and also jump into a comparison of two films, both classics, that I enjoyed, that I recently got to watch, one on the big screen, one just in general. And then we're also going to look at Friday's box office and the news that Joss Whedon is out as the director of Batgirl. So give us a second to get everybody loaded in here, and then we will get started. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. This is Brunansky's vlog. Good morning. It's Monday morning. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeremy Brunansky with Brunansky's vlog. I've got my iced tea. I've got my iced tea. I've got my iced tea here. I've got the box office report from this weekend. And let's go ahead and take a look at one news story then that dropped this morning. We are live right now. We are going to cover Friday's box office. So for this weekend's box office, on these Facebook Live sessions, we do like to cover the weekend box office. So what does that mean? That means that this is pretty impressive, as you'll hear in a minute. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, so don't worry. In theory, that film should have done gangbusters. This movie is so much fun. I think the rewatchability factor is super high. Wow, this was actually a fun time. I'm on board. Sign me up. Game over. If you're watching this on replay, thank you. All right, let's just get into it. Number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2, and number 1. All right, welcome to Facebook Live here on Brunansky's vlog. I'm Jeremy Brunansky. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you're watching this on the YouTube replay, thank you so much as well. We are going to talk a lot about some movie stuff today. We've got two non-spoiler reviews we're going to look at for Annihilation and Game Night. I had the opportunity to see both of those. The full spoiler reviews will be dropping Monday morning on the brand new episode of Brunansky's vlog, 10 a.m. PST, so stay tuned for those. We're also going to take a look at two films that are near identical, both classics. One I recently had the opportunity to see on the big screen, and then we'll just do a little compare and contrast on those two films. We're going to talk about Joss Whedon no longer being involved with the Batgirl film. And also, we're going to take a look at Friday's box office, and we'll see kind of what everybody has been checking out as far as that's concerned. Before we get into it, I do want to go ahead and just encourage everybody who's watching this right now on YouTube replay to go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you haven't yet, we're trying to climb to 100 subscribers, and we are almost there. I think right now we're at 95, so we need about 5 more folks to go. So head over to YouTube if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, and go ahead and do that right now so we can get up to that 100 mark. And then also click the bell too, so when new content drops, you'll be notified as soon as that happens. For everybody watching this on Facebook Live, thank you guys so much too. If you haven't clicked the like or follow button on here, go ahead and do that. That way you get the alerts as soon as we go live here on Saturday and then Monday mornings. So yes, be sure to follow along. All right, let's go ahead and jump now into the Friday box office report. On the show, we like to cover the box office and take a look at what you guys were all seeing this week. And then on Monday, we take a look at the weekend box office. So to see what everybody got out and saw over the weekend. So for Friday's box office, we take a look from number 5 to number 1. So coming in at number 5, we have 50 Shades Freed at $2,300,000. Number 4 is Peter Rabbit at $2,845,000. Number 3, Annihilation, $3,860,000. Number 2, Game Night at $5,600,000. And number 1, Black Panther at $28,858,000. So Black Panther still dominating the box office. No surprise there. Again, I had a great time with it. I saw it twice. Still need to see it again. If you haven't seen my review for that, I'll go ahead and throw that card up right here if you're watching this on YouTube replay. And you can just click that card, and it'll take you right to the review I did for Black Panther. Overall, just really had a good time with this film. It's really well done. It's very thought-provoking. And it covers a lot of ground as far as social commentary and stuff like that without being preachy, right? It just gives you something to think about because it gives you different sides of the same coin. And it's a really good movie. The action in it's really good. As I stated in my review, it's like a spy movie meets Top Gun, meets an adventure film. Like there's just so much in it. Definitely worth your time. The humor in it lands really well too. without being like too comedic and too comical. So really don't have anything negative to say about it. There's a couple things here or there where I was like, meh, but just overall, really good time at the theater. Definitely recommend you guys check that out. As far as the rest of the top 5 go, game night, I saw that Thursday night. The theater I was in was packed. And we, as you'll hear in a little bit, in the non-spoiler, we had a good time in this theater. Everybody there seemed to have a good time. Annihilation, saw that Friday. I walked out of the theater. I was just like, holy moly. I cannot wait to write my review for this so I can get this recorded, just so I could get all of the thoughts out of my head, because really, really good story. Coming in number 4, Peter Rabbit. Not surprised. I had a lot of fun with Peter Rabbit. Oddly, it's the most controversial movie of 2018. Still on the internet. Don't understand that, but whatever. But really good, really fun family film. Definitely recommend that people get out and check it out. It gets a little dark, but still fun. And then 50 Shades Freed. Sure. I haven't seen any of this franchise. I don't know what's going on with it, but it keeps making money. So apparently love is not dead. So that should warm the cockles of your heart. All right, let's take a look here real quick at the top 10. But as far as the top 5 go, it's pretty nice. It's pretty spread out, right? You can't just say like there's one genre of films that's really dominating the box office right now, because you've got the Marvel film, which is kind of like just a collection of different types of stories being told for Black Panther. Then you've got a kids movie or family movie with Peter Rabbit. You've got an adult comedy with Game Night. You got a science fiction kind of thriller with Annihilation, and then 50 Shades Freed for the Lonely Hearts Club. So, yeah, I mean, there you go. There's a little bit of something for everybody in the top 5. And then as far as the top 10 goes, we have Early Man in the top 10, Greatest Showman, 1517 to Paris, Every Day, and Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Again, I really enjoyed Early Man. I wasn't going to go see it because the trailer's just garbage. But I'm really happy I went, thanks to Movie Pass, right? Because I probably wouldn't have gone to see it if it wasn't for Movie Pass. But I was able to use my Movie Pass, so I didn't have to pay for it. And I really enjoyed it. In fact, I'll throw my review up right here if you're watching this on YouTube replay. And you can check that out. It'll be right there. And that's for Early Man. Again, it's a movie about cavemen and soccer. That's the movie. So don't have your expectations too high, right? Set them appropriately. It's a stop motion animation film about cavemen playing soccer. Still fun. So check it out. All right, let's go ahead and move on now. We're going to take a look here at just a couple things. Also wanted to mention on the Stardust app, if you guys haven't downloaded that, you can check that out. It's right over here on the wall. You can't click on it, right? It's just the image, the logo, if you will. But check that out, Stardust, Brunansky's vlog. That's where I do all my trailer reviews. So if a movie drops a trailer, I watch it, and then I throw it up on the Stardust app, right? So check that out. I've got, what did I write down here? 81 reviews right now. So 81 trailers I've reviewed on this app. So go ahead, and if you are the type of person that likes to watch the commentary on like what were people's reactions and thoughts about movie trailers, Stardust app is where I give you that info. So check it out. Again, Brunansky's vlog. All right, so let's go ahead and move into the comparison between two films that I didn't realize were almost identical. And so recently, excuse me, as we've talked about before, Fathom Events and Turner Classic Movies do these showings where they take films that are older, right, and they throw them back up on the big screen for 1 or 2 nights. The Philadelphia Story back in 1940 was one of these films, and I was able to get out to the theater to check this out. It was a lot of fun. You know, the movie, Ben Mankiewicz comes on and he gives you a little bit about the film, like the history of it and stuff like that. Then you get to watch the film. And then right after the film is over, he comes back onto the screen and gives you a little bit more about the movie. So you have like this history class before and after on the film, plus you get the film. So it's a lot of fun. If you have the opportunity to check these out, I definitely recommend getting out to the theater to check these out, because they pick really great films, right? I've seen Casablanca, All About Eve, Ghostbusters. Now the Philadelphia Story, like they do a great job with these movies. Next month is Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. So, you know, I'm going to be there for that because I'm a huge Alfred Hitchcock fan. So yeah, just check it out. But what I didn't realize is, because I haven't, at least I don't think I have seen the Philadelphia Story without commercials, right? I think all of my memories of like that film were based on like what I saw on reruns on TV. And then that was years ago. I mean, I was a kid, right? So years ago. So seeing it again, and I was just like, oh, wow. Like, I knew that High Society stole a lot of the story from the Philadelphia story. And if you aren't familiar with High Society, that's Bing Crosby, that is Frank Sinatra, and Grace Kelly. And really, it's a musical, but it's the musical version of the Philadelphia story. And I didn't realize, like, it's literally a blatant, like, mimic, but add music. There's a couple of scenes that they changed. So Jimmy Stewart plays Frank Sinatra plays the role that Jimmy Stewart plays in the Philadelphia story. Bing Crosby plays the role that Cary Grant plays. And Grace Kelly plays the role that, holy cow, I just blanked on her name. Holy moly. Give me 1 second. This is embarrassing. All right, so Philadelphia story. Katharine Hepburn. Thank you, IMDb. IMDb to the rescue. So Grace Kelly plays the role that Katharine Hepburn plays. And there's a couple things in it that are different from what you get in Philadelphia Story versus High Society. Also, in High Society, they wrote an entirely new bit for the band, who's led by Louis Armstrong. And there's a reworking of some of the scenes. So at the party, at the engagement party, when everybody's celebrating and drinking champagne, Jimmy Stewart's character, again, who is the Frank Sinatra character in High Society, he gets a little too drunk, and he's got to, like, kind of get over to go talk to Cary Grant's character, who in this case would be Bing Crosby. So that's kind of where we're at. But in Philadelphia Story, he takes a car service to go visit Cary Grant, and they have a conversation at Cary Grant's house. In High Society, Frank Sinatra walks into a separate room, and he finds Bing Crosby in there, and then they have this whole new song, and they're, drinking champagne and everything else. So there's little things like that that are reworked that I thought were a lot of fun. Definitely check both of these films out. You can get them. You can probably stream them now. I know you can get them on DVD. So definitely worth checking out. Again, that's the Philadelphia Story and High Society. Both of these films, if you like musicals, definitely go with High Society because it's Louis Armstrong, it's Bing Crosby, it's Frank Sinatra, it's jazz, jazz, jazz. And Philadelphia Story is not. It's just the drama. So there's your difference there. But both really great films, both really well done. And again, if you watch them back to back, you'll be surprised that they literally stole lines from the Philadelphia Story for High Society. Like, Frank Sinatra picks up the phone and calls the room. Jimmy Stewart picks up a phone and calls the room. He's like, this is the voice of doom. And then he has like a few more things after that he hangs up. And the lady who answers goes, oh my goodness, I think the servants got into the sherry again. Because they're like highfalutin folks. And then in the same thing for High Society, she says the exact same thing. And so does Frank Sinatra. I think somebody got into the sherry again. So it's, again, like, there's just little things like that where you're like, holy moly, this is like identical. They like took the script and just went, okay, we're going to keep all of this, but we're going to change one or two things. So check these films out, both really good. All right, so let's go ahead now and move into the news, the Hollywood Reporter news that Joss Whedon is out on Batgirl. Apparently he could not come up with a story, which is weird because I thought, and I'm going to throw this article, if you're watching this right now on Facebook Live, I'll throw this Hollywood Reporter article in the comments. Excuse me. So just go ahead and check that out. If you're watching this on YouTube replay, just go ahead and expand the description box below, and that link will be right there for you guys. But according to the Hollywood Reporter article here, he says he's out. He couldn't come up with a story. And so he was hoping to bring another character, another female empowerment character to the big screen, similar to Wonder Woman. But he just, for a little over a year, I guess they just couldn't figure out how they wanted to tell this story. And so now they've been talking about, like, well, who should we get now to tell this story about Batgirl? And I don't, look, Batgirl is fine, like, whatever, but can we just get, like, other characters that aren't so tied to characters that are already in the universe? Like, you have Batman, you have Superman, you have Wonder Woman, you have Aquaman. We're waiting on the Green Lantern. We've got Flash, but we don't really have, like, a Batman movie, like, for this new universe, right? So why would we be taking characters from the Batman gallery and, like, injecting them? Like, why wouldn't, with all of the characters in the DC universe that you could make a film off of, Why are we taking characters from the Batman lore when we don't even have a Batman movie yet? Like, I know they're trying to get one done, right? They're trying to get a Batman movie, a Joker movie, but like, get it done. Don't create all of these other films from characters that stem from Batman before we have Batman. It's like the cart before the horse. It just kind of, my brain just got a So we'll just say, like, who could direct a Batgirl film? I have 3 people that I just came up with right before the show when I was reading this article. I was like, the 3 people I would like to see would be Catherine Bigelow, David Lake, or Chad Stahelski. Catherine Bigelow is a great director. She does a really good job telling stories and making it kind of feel real. And then David, I really liked what he did with Atomic Blonde. And I thought just some of the stuff and the stunts that she had to do in that film, I think would work really well with a Batgirl character. And then Chad Stahelski with what he was able to do with John Wick, and again, the stunts and the action and making it feel real and grounded, even though it is kind of grandiose. I thought these three directors all would do a good job, in my opinion, trying to bring a Batgirl film to life with the different type of fighting style and everything else that would go along with Batgirl. So there's that. But if we could just get rid of Batgirl and like focus on characters that aren't part of like an existing thing, or if we are, just give us the Batman film and then give us like the Bat family, right? Give us all of the Bat characters in one movie. That works too. Or just give us another Superman movie. Give us that sequel that we're waiting for. But I wrote down a couple characters I would like to see if DC decided, okay, look, we're just going to try and get away from the main characters. We're going to try and branch it out. We're going to do what movies used to do before the Marvel Cinematic Universe blew up and then everybody wanted a shared universe. We're just going to go back to telling individual stories that may or may not be connected, but we're just going to tell individual stories. So breaking away from that business model, right, of shared universe, I thought we could do a Martian Manhunter film. I thought Booster Gold and Blue Beetle's long overdue. I think you'd have a great kind of buddy cop team up there. I would like to see another Constantine movie, try and get that going again, or even a Zatanna movie. If you want to go into the mystic world, like use one of those guys. Deathstroke, one of my personal favorite villains of all time. I would love to see a Deathstroke standalone film. I definitely think it's doable. Again, with the Spectre on the more mystical. You could even do Adam Strange if you wanted like sci-fi crazy adventure, right? And then also there was the Green Arrow. We could do a Green Arrow movie. I know he's really big on TV, so they're probably like, no. But there is this, I feel like it's been 10 years. I've been hearing about this script called Escape from Supermax. And it deals with Green Arrow being stuck in Supermax prison and having to work with the people he put in Supermax prison to get out to stop a greater threat. And I'm just like, why hasn't this movie been greenlit? Like, what is going on with getting the rights to make this film? Because I feel like I've been hearing about this mysterious, like, script that's been floating through the ether of Hollywood for like 10 years at least. Why can't we get this? Escape from Supermax, Green Arrow. Like, he's in Supermax prison with the people he put in there. He has to use their help to get out to stop a greater threat. How is this not a movie? Like, I don't know. But these are all options that we can use, right, to like expand out past what we know right now as far as movies go. We've got Batman. We've got a lot of Batman. We've got a lot of Superman. Like, not right now, but like overall. We could definitely use a new Green Lantern film, which they said they're working on. Flash is going to be cool, hopefully, if they can get it off the ground. Aquaman comes out this year. Wonder Woman 2 has already been greenlit. So, like, that works, but, like, let's branch away, right, from the big 3, from the big 5. Look at some of these other characters and go back to what movies used to be, which is just individual stories told well. Not just individual stories told, but individual stories told well. It could work. It's crazy enough. I know. Shared universe is the popular thing right now, but go back to just making individual stories told well, and I think it could work. I just threw a bunch up on the board for Hollywood to consider, so take a look at those. All right. Let's go ahead and move now into the non-spoiler reviews for Game Night and Annihilation. Again, I saw Game Night Thursday night. What a fun time at the movies, people. My goodness. I had hoped it was going to be funny, right? I walked in and I was like, please be as funny as the trailers lead me to believe. Nailed it. Nailed it. It's not a perfect film, but I didn't want it to be a perfect film. I just wanted it to be a fun comedy mystery. Nailed it. 100%. I was like, this is so fun. Like, I was in a crowded theater. on a Thursday night. Crowded theater. And literally some of the hits, some of the jokes that hit were so good and hit so properly that myself and the rest of the audience were just laughing so loud we missed the lines of dialogue that followed the jokes. So it's like, it's one of those, like, and seeing it in a theater full of people who were all laughing at the same time, incredible experience. The story is, I don't want to say too much, but the story, like, it involves like friends that like get together to play a game night, to play games during game night, right? Different games. It's not always the same game. It's whatever board game or card game or charades or something like that. And then a surprise visitor comes into town who happens to be Jason Bateman's brother in the film. And then it kind of, that's where the film gets going from there. There's a lot of really good characters in this movie, and each character is very different and unique, which really helps make the film stand out. On my review on Monday, we'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll also talk a little bit more about how each of the teams that they break up into had really good on-screen chemistry, because that was a concern for me going into the film. Is if you have all these people together, that's one thing, but what happens when they separate? Will they still be able to be enjoyable, like separated from the group, or are they only good in the group? And I'm happy to report that everybody plays their little pocket groups really, really well together. Really surprised with the story. I expected some things that did happen, so I was happy that they happened. And then like they put a little bit more of a twist, right? So it's like you get your food together and then all of a sudden comes out and they just like pop a little bit of lemon just like right on top of it. And you're like, oh, didn't see that coming. It was like that. Like, it was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like they really put some thought into this story. It's not just a two-dimensional comedy, right? Where you're like, here are the characters, beginning, middle, end, jokes throughout. Like it's really, you could tell that the writers really sat down and put thought into the story and how they wanted to tell the jokes and how they wanted jokes to kind of develop over time. So it wasn't just like a joke that hit. It was a joke that kept building and building until like the big payoff, maybe in the middle or maybe towards the end of the film. I don't want to give it away, but there's some really, really good stuff in this film as far as comedy goes. So if you want to laugh and be a little bit surprised, like I said, you get ready to eat and then someone just comes in and just like cracks that lemon over your meal and you're just like, ooh, that's going to set it off. Like, it's like one of those films where you're just like, I got it. Oh, nope. They gave it a little bit more. So game night, a lot of fun. Check it out. Next up is Annihilation. My goodness. I loved my time in this film. There's some stuff in the film I don't like. There's some stuff in that this is not a perfect film. And the stuff that I don't like because I don't see it as necessary to the story in a way. Like, I get what they were doing, and I'm trying not to, I can't get into it too much on this show. I'll probably do a spoiler review on Monday to talk a little bit more about it. But there are some things that happen with the main character that Natalie Portman plays that, like, there's flashback sequences. It's like flash forward, flashback, flashback even further, flash forward, and then it just kind of keeps doing that. And so some of those flashback sequences, I was like, get rid of them. They got to go. And then even some of like the flashback sequences, like there's just a lot of them. I was like, we don't need these. Get rid of these. And then even stuff like in the modern time, you could have cut some of those out too, so you didn't have as much jumping, so the film didn't feel as choppy. But overall, the story is like a combination of like a Predator movie meets like this philosophical look at what it means to create life and to inhabit a place by creating something new, right? To join with what exists, see what exists, build on what exists to create something brand new and different within the world that you're now inhabiting. Really, really good, really thought-provoking stuff. And then the science fiction elements of it, incredible. There are some terrifying moments in this film. They're very brief, but they're important, and the impact hits the way I believe they intended the impact to hit. So I had so much enjoyment watching this film because I was like, holy moly. Already a fan of Garland because of what he did with Ex Machina. This film is much more nuanced than Ex Machina. Ex Machina is pretty straightforward in its delivery. It's thought-provoking. It challenges the concepts of what does it mean to be alive as far as AI technology is concerned. This film goes a little bit further. It's kind of spreads out the possibilities of what the topics are that they're covering in the film as far as creating life, becoming becoming part of an existing, I don't want to say society because it's not a society, but part of the existing atmosphere and everything else that, like, if you go to a new place, because like the alien, right, the Shimmer, comes to Earth, so it inhabits a new place, it inhabits this new world, it creates like new life within the world. You see all this in the trailers, right, with the deer that have like the flowers on their antlers. And then you get even more in the movie. It's just so good. Again, thought-provoking stuff, really good science fiction. Like, I really enjoyed the visuals in this film a lot on how the world looks in the Shimmer, because the world in the Shimmer is 3 different aesthetics, and I go into those more on the trailer, or on the review, the full spoiler review on Monday, on that episode, on this week's episode, sorry. And the characters in it, though, I say this in the review, but I'll say it here, because the characters are all very different, but they all feel like characters that you would find in a Predator film, like the Predator franchise, right? So like, you have all of these characters in it, and you're like, they each play a specific role. Like, you've got a medic, you've got the biologist, you've got a psychologist, you've got a physicist, right? So there's these different roles like you'd get in like an RPG game. So like, there's these different roles that they play specifically. I don't want to go into it too much here because, again, non-spoiler, but my review on Monday, we dive into it, and then maybe on Monday we'll talk a little bit more about it, depending. But really good movie, really enjoyed Annihilation. Again, it's not a perfect movie. There were stuff when I walked out of the theater, my first thought was like, wow, you gotta get rid of that. This film is under 2 hours, just barely. And I feel like you could probably tighten it up even more by getting rid of some of those flashback sequences. I think this movie would have just crushed it. I mean, we're talking Slayfest 2018. If you would have gotten rid of some of those jump scene or those cut scenes, if you would have gotten rid of some of those scenes that it jumps back and forth to and cuts back and forth to, because again, I don't really feel like it did a lot for the overall story, the overall point of the film. So yeah, that's all I can say without getting into spoilers. But stay tuned for Monday's episode. We're going to cover it more there. Again, full spoiler review on Monday for both Game Night and Annihilation. And then maybe on Monday's Facebook Live, we'll dig into Annihilation a little bit more as far as spoilery talk is concerned. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up this week. Give me 1 second to refresh the board. Make sure we don't have any questions or comments regarding today's Facebook live stream. And 1 second. Ba-da-ba-ba-dum-bum. Nope. All right, we're good. All right, so that wraps up this week's Facebook live stream, this Saturday's Facebook live stream. Thank you guys so much for watching it. If you guys are watching this on the YouTube replay, thank you as well. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the topics. If you did, go ahead and give me that thumbs up for both Facebook and YouTube, because it helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show on Facebook and YouTube. So again, thank you so much. Give me that thumbs up if you're watching it on YouTube replay and you have not clicked subscribe. Please go ahead and do click that subscribe button, because we're trying to climb to 100 subscribers and we are almost there. So please do click that subscribe. Click the little bell so you get the notifications when new content drops. I'm Jeremy Brunansky. This is Brunansky's Vlog. Thank you guys so much for joining me again. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you Monday morning at 10 a.m. PST on YouTube for a brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your weekend and go see these films. Game Night, Annihilation, they're out there. They're good. They're waiting for you, and you will enjoy them. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeremy Brunansky, and you've just finished watching a Facebook Live replay. Now, if you enjoyed that, you may also want to check out the weekly show playlist, as well as the movie news playlist, which covers just the news segments from every Monday's episode. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click that subscribe. We'll see you guys next Monday right here on YouTube for a brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog at 10 a.m. PST. Have a great week. Take care.